Добрий день.
Good afternoon, this is Olga Tamaneva. Welcome everyone who joined us. Media Center Ukraine Ukrinform is starting its work for today, the 9th year of the war, and it's the 209th day of the full-scale invasion of the Russian occupant to our land. I thank everyone who is telling the world the truth about this war. Briefly, on the schedule of the events, at 2 p.m. we have the meeting with Sergei Gaidai, the head of Lugansk Oblast Military Administration, and we will talk about the situation in Lugansk Oblast. Then at 3 p.m. we will have a visit from Yaroslav Shanko. He's the deputy head of the Juvenile Prevention Directorate of the National Police. And we will be talking about the project called Safety Educator that will allow communities to build an environment free of bullying for our children, drugs and violence as well. And right now we have Oleksandr Senkevich, who is the head of Mykolaiv city, the mayor of Mykolaiv city. Oleksandr, welcome. Can you hear us? Good afternoon. I can hear you all right. Good afternoon. Please tell us about the previous day in Mykolaiv. What has been going on? In general, the night was without shelling. Basically, during the time of the war, this is the 33rd day in the city without shelling. And our utility services are working on yesterday's shelling and its aftermath. During the yesterday's shelling, over 40 private houses were damaged as one of the industrial infrastructure. Many apartment buildings had their windows fly out. Today we have repaired the communications, so we have the supply of water, electricity and gas, and now we are trying to cover the windows because winter is upon us. Every day people are working to cover the windows for the citizens. And today, as of today, 135 people died because of shelling in Mykolaiv city, one child among them, and also heavily wounded are 65 people, 9 children out of them. What is the humanitarian situation? Do hospitals manage to help the citizens? Yes, our hospitals work in the pre-war mode, so to say, and even better. The number of citizens in Mykolaiv decreased almost twofold. We had 500,000, but now we have about 220, 230,000 people now. Most of them are elderly citizens, but the load on the hospitals is not that big. We are also getting ready to coronavirus pandemic that we're expecting to start in the nearest month, and we're also helping the doctors to deal with the wounded citizens during shellings. In general, almost all the hospitals have been damaged by the shelling. Most of them do not have the windows right now, and all of these windows are covered with wooden planks, and we are trying to maintain the temperature inside the hospitals. It is dangerous to change the windows and to insert glass windows because they're broken again during shellings. So we decided to cover all the windows, even in the houses where there are no people. We are covering with wooden planks, and almost 1,500 houses in Mykolaiv have no windows, have apartments with no windows, and there are no people who can cover them because people moved out. I will be talking in more detail about preparing to the heating season. Yes, if you may, can you please talk about the heating season? Is the city prepared? We understand that the challenges such as, for instance, damaged windows, they are very widespread among those cities and towns that are under constant shelling. Does the city help people who live in such houses to insert either the windows or covering the windows with anything else? Well, the thing is that our colleagues, the mayors of other cities, they have the following problems: where they will have the gas, what the prices of the gas will be, whether we will have enough. We have different problems. Our problem is that out of those houses where the windows are broken, today there are many apartments, almost 50% of apartments, where there are no people currently live in. So using the lifts, we are moving the professionals there who are covering the windows with the wood, with foam. And as of now, we understood that we're not fast enough, so I addressed the Association of the Cities of Ukraine so that other cities could send us their teams to help with repairs. And of course, not many people replied because it is dangerous here and people are simply afraid to come here. But we have a team from Odessa helping us. Teams from Ivano-Frankivsk came yesterday. And today they're already working. We can see that we're increasing the speed, and by November the 1st, we will be able to cover all those windows that we currently have broken. Of course, if we have more shelling, the number of broken windows will increase as well. I would like to remind you that in Mykolaiv, as of now, we have no drinking water. So the source of drinking water is the river Dnipro for Mykolaiv, and the Russians destroyed 2 pipes that were sending almost 100,000 cubical meters of drinking water to Mykolaiv every day. For a month, we had no water at all. Now we're supplying water from Pivdenny Bug river. We purify the water from bacteria, but we cannot been able to decrease the amount of salt in the water. So the water that's running from the taps is salty. It is ruining our pipes, and the pipes keep bursting. But this is the only water that we've been able to use right now. People can use it to do laundry, to wash, but it is not potable, not suitable for cooking or drinking. Mykolaiv Heat and Energy Utility Company has built infrastructure to get the water and fill the normal water that is not salty into the heating system. And also, if they have leftovers, they will for free distribute this water for people to drink. Also, we are preparing the houses of the utility company. We have Mykolaiv Heat and Energy Power Plant. We are helping it to prepare for the heating season in general. We are planning to launch this heating season according to the plan, but we are also preparing ourselves for the worst cases. So we are also preparing some solid fuel as well. On education in the city, how did it start and whether kindergartens are open? Please tell us. No, the kindergartens are not open, same as schools. They have not yet been. I think at the end of summer, we have made a decision that we will not be teaching children offline. 45,000 children registered this year to study in the city, and only 10,000 of them are now located in Mykolaiv, and they will be able, theoretically, to get education offline. But we do not want to risk the life and health of our children, because during the war we had 77 education facilities shelled, and some of them are destroyed completely, some of them are partially destroyed. So education in Mykolaiv schools is only online as of right now. So as of today, of course, the knowledge of the children is important, but their lives are even more important. Yes, indeed, we understand that. Please tell us. We know that very active work was done in the city on identifying collaborators and those who correct fire. Can you please tell us more about that? The Security Service of Ukraine is working on this. Indeed, almost every week there is 1 or 2 cases of identifying such people. My personal opinion is that these people, there should be separate laws for them to imprison them for mass murder, because indeed they correct fire. In, as far as I remember, about 10 people were taken with undeniable proof, information in their phones, that they submitted, and after that there was shelling on Mykolaiv city, and we should sentence them to life in prison because they don't only correct fire, they're killing people. So this work is being done. The city authorities are helping it. I cannot go into any more detail, but we're working every day, as to say every minute. Dear colleagues, your questions, please. Please introduce yourself in the microphone. Good afternoon. Yulia Abakumova, Ukrinform, in the context of the preparation to the heating season. What's going on with the electricity network? Because this year, the electricity network will have a lot of pressure on it, load on it. Yes, you're right. We have also thought about this, but we have a very simple answer. The number of users. Of course, the load will increase, that the one apartment will be given on the apartment building network, but the number of people now living in Mykolaiv decreased twofold, even more than that. So the total load on the network, I think that it will not be that big. In any case, the repair units are ready. They are now training to renew the network every day after the shelling, and also they will be ready to do anything to change the cables, to repair the damage. We are buying the cables in advance to use it when we need them. Thank you. I have another question for you. The local citizens complain about food prices, that the prices are too high, higher than in the neighboring regions. Is there anything that you could comment on this? Is it a danger for the local people? Is it a danger of hunger, a difficult situation for them with food? Well, you know, I don't think that they are in danger of being hungry. Indeed, the network shops have similar prices. Mykolaiv doesn't have the lack in supply of food right now. Out of the all possible ways, we only have the way to Kherson closed now, but we have the roads to Kryvyi Rih, Dnipro, Kropivnytsky, Odessa, Kyiv open. The trade is happening, it's taking place. It's almost the single driver of economics right now because the big and small companies are not working. Of course, the city authorities cannot regulate the prices, but there are several humanitarian programs in the city of Mykolaiv, including the UN program, where rice is given to people and 30,000 pieces of bread and canned food is distributed daily. So I think that all the people who have trouble buying food, they can get humanitarian aid. Moreover, I would like to say that many people are worried about the elderly citizens. I am more worried for people who are not elderly because they did not receive their retirement payments every month. There are people who can't work because they have no job, younger people, and officially they have not been fired. So we are working with these people. We also will be working with the UN and with the employment center with some specific cases for some specific people. On employment, I don't think that there will be any problem with food or anybody will remain hungry in the city. According to your estimation, is there enough humanitarian aid coming into the city? Well, of course, the amount of humanitarian aid has decreased significantly. Since the beginning of the war, we at the city have been taking care of special categories of people 65 plus, and also all the special categories, people with disabilities, families with many children, and so on and so forth. We have a registry, and we also can see how much humanitarian aid we have distributed to a specific person. The UN program that also distributes 30,000 pieces of bread and 30,000 pieces of canned food daily. We have launched this program based on cards. People can register for these cards using their taxpayer number, and we also control this program. All the other humanitarian aid supply is done and controlled by NGOs. They are rather organized in Mykolaiv. There are some separate people who distribute humanitarian aid. What regards humanitarian aid, that is sent to the city council, its amount is now probably 10 times smaller compared to what it used to be. We do not receive it as much as we used to 3 or 4 months ago. Oleksandr, please tell us what is happening with the agrarians that have gathered their harvest. Could they join the so-called grain corridor and export their harvest? Maybe there were some other ways out of the situation. The way between Mykolaiv and Odessa is now filled with trucks in the day and night. Yes, the corridor, I would like to remind you that the port of Mykolaiv, there are 2 ports in Mykolaiv in general. It was supposed to carry the 40% of all the cargo in Ukraine, and it's blocked now. The Russians are shelling it, and of course that everything that used to be carried from there, it is now taken to Odessa. And there is Turkey as a guarantor. There is an agreement, so our agrarians are taking their food supplies from Mykolaiv Oblast and bringing them to Odessa, to Reni, and so on. So the grain business and in general the agrarian business, the agricultural business, are finding the way. They're working, they're trying to work even in such difficult times. Thank you very much. Thank you for finding the time and joining us, dear colleagues. I would like to remind you that we had Oleksandr Senkevich with us, the mayor of Mykolaiv. And our next briefing will take place at 2 p.m. We will be talking about the situations in Luhansk Oblast. Please stay with us.